Mark Stroll's annual general meeting last week. Got elected to the board there for the local Conservative Party.
Okay. How long are you going to last on that board before they kick you off?
Probably not.
As soon as they listen to the podcast.
Well, I asked him, I said, you got to come on my podcast. I'd love to interview you. And he's like, well, I'm not sure. I have to get that
Approval
to be
on the
like,
podcast.
Wow, look at that. Free speech in Canada. You can't even come on your own constituents.
Political parties hold a lot of power.
That's terrible.
No, it's not good.
Man. Not good.
No, it makes sense.
Makes
sense. Could you imagine if you were a politician and you were allowed to say whatever you want and go on any podcast you want?
You're elected
you put
by
the political
here in Chilliwack. No. You should be able to.
Some people need to have a filter put on them by other people.
You're breaking bad candidates. You're breaking back. You should be able
people
to.
People are their own worst enemies, man.
If he can't go on my podcast and get interviewed
unhinged for 2 hours,
doesn't have to be unhinged. Well, he has a brain. He knows what he should say and shouldn't say, but he's being controlled and say you can't do that. I think that's crap.
Yeah, they do a lot of message. I mean, I think Stephen Harper was a very good prime minister in many ways, but he was the beginning of the he was very controlling about what people said. It was like a few cabinet ministers and.
So who are you electing? Did I elect Mark Straw or did I elect just one guy?
Yes, man. Are they yes men? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is.
Like, they are. And there's literally a party whip. I don't know. It'd be interesting if he come on and talk about that process because Mark's a very nice guy and very smart guy. It'd be interesting to hear his perspective. Maybe after he's not an MP anymore, he'd come on and give me...
What's interesting, though, he said, of course, the polls have changed very much in the Liberals' favor recently because of the tariff war, and we'll see how long that lasts. But he also said, he goes, it's very frustrating because the problem is within Canada. The reason that Canada is not doing well economically in so many other ways is because...
We have no economy.
And the Liberals have just scuttled this country for the last 10 years and screwed it up. And we have all our eyeballs on Trump and the U.S. because it's easy to point fingers at them, and the media does that as well because the media is all in the bag of the Liberal Party. And Mark actually said that as well. He said that Mark Carney, all of a sudden Chrystia Freeland was bad and Mark Carney was good, and it was because the CBC was just pushing Mark Carney. They were basically told to push him, and he's like, but the problem's within Canada. He goes there's no more. He goes late in 2011 they wanted to buy F-35s. 2011. And they were like, no, the Liberals killed it. No, it was so bad, whatever. 10 years later, Liberals finally bought it. There's the ports are wide open. The border is open. There's no military. It's just a shit show. The problem is in Canada.
Ultimately, though, I mean, Donald Trump is pandering to the base that thinks that, hey, we're going to, Canada's ripping us off, and I don't agree with that at all. I think that's a load of ridiculousness.
Yeah, I don't know enough about what's actually happening in the inner workings because I know there's tariffs going both ways already currently.
Well, ironically, I think Canada, and people will correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think there's quite a few more tariffs that Canada's in. Donald Trump threatened, Kai walked back 95% of them because he's a bit of a windbag, and then the federal government in Canada said, we're just carrying on. You threaten that stuff, we're carrying on with some of them. So to what degree, I don't know, but.
No, but even before that, there's tariffs.
Well, there's always tariffs.
Yeah.
Of course, on some things.
Exactly. But most people wouldn't even know that, though.
Super interesting, too. So, we get made fun of going into supply management again. But, dairy farmers, especially right now, everybody's terrified. It's he's coming after dairy. Well, I could be wrong, but I think there's even bigger tariffs going into the U.S. on milk.
There is. There's 230% tariff.
Yeah, there's big tariffs on milk dairy going into the U.S. too. So everybody's protecting their own interest.
But people don't know that.
No, they don't.
And so they just go beak off
because all the free market guys are just saying, how can we not be protecting oil and gas, and we're protecting these few dairy farmers in Canada that are entitled.
And China's coming in here actually buying everything up and kind of actually really screwing us.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting though, if you look at grain farmers across the prairies, and I don't know, you probably don't follow those type of people, but you follow people there's a lot of businesses that are severely affected, right? I mean, and I talked to a farmer last week. I don't know if I talked about it on last week's show, but I mean, all of a sudden they get a phone call overnight and their product 25% more. Now it didn't, well, that would have happened because that's coming. Yeah. So anyways.
I was talking to someone else last week that is affected, and their friends are being affected by the cuts of Doge, Elon Musk and Doge in the government. A lot of people are losing their jobs, and this person was very, very upset by it. And what was interesting was I was talking to this person about a couple of years ago. They had quit their job, very well-paying job, and started a new business. They were saying that they had to stop eating out as much and buying all these things because they couldn't afford it, like money in, money out, right?
Because they had started their own business?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and they didn't have like the big wage coming in anymore. I'm like, well, that's the same thing in government. Like the U.S. is paying more on interest on their loan, on their debt, than they are to their military, which is like $800 billion. Like you can't.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
No.
Like you have to do cuts that hurt before.
We do here too, and it is going to affect all of us in some ways, right? And a lot of us would say, well, we don't even have that good of services as it is. Like, try get a passport or try do something with, a federal agency. But even provincially, we're foster parents, and the feedback we're getting through the Ministry of Children and Families is cut. So I mean, the NDP obviously just got barely reelected with a majority in BC, and their finances, is public knowledge, is a total disaster, right? And it's because that's not their gifting. I mean, the NDP would not be.
They have a gifting?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, they want to care well for people. I mean, I'm a socialist at heart. I just don't think government should do the socialism. I think that we as
that's not socialism.
Well, I think we as individuals need to care for the needy, right?
Yes,
and I think that's on us.
I agree with
I don't think government does anything extremely well, because
maybe if tax wasn't at 60% in Canada, there'd be more to go around to give to the needy.
Yeah. Anyways, a lot of debt servicing, and so we'll see.
Anyways, hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.